Mom thought. She just really, really missed her best friend. And no one else she knew, no one at Camp Apple Hill Farm for sure, was even half as cool as Madison. "All right, who's ready for some s'mores and too many verses of The Wheels on the Bus?" asked Taylor, their other counselor, as she entered the cabin. Her long, dark hair had been braided with daisies, and her tan skin shone with a sheen of sweat from walking the other campers in the cabin to the jamboree. "Elena isn't really feeling up to s'mores," Missy said to Taylor, the two older girls exchanging a weighted glance. "No worries. You and Tiffany go ahead. Elena and I can hang out here and get to know each other," Taylor said with a shrug. Missy nodded. As Tiffany followed her out, she gave Elena one last forlorn glance. "So, do you want to play a board game or something?" Taylor asked, standing next to the bunk. Elena shook her head and lay back down. What she wanted was to go home, but apparently that wasn't an option. Taylor opened her mouth to speak, but whatever she was about to say was cut off by a knock at the door. "Yes," Taylor said, moving toward the door. Elena rolled over on her bunk, facing the wall and ignoring both Taylor and whoever was at the door. Unless it was a ride home, she wasn't interested. Whoever it was, though, Elena couldn't tell. She couldn't hear what Taylor was saying to them. In fact, Elena couldn't hear anything at all. Elena rolled over, looking toward the door, and saw no one. She sat up on her bed. Elena was still in the cabin where she'd been a few moments before, but now everything looked strange. The setting sun was gone. The light coming in the windows was odd, like it was the middle of the night and the moon was shining brightly. The door was open, and a chill, damp fog was drifting in across the threshold. Her counselor was nowhere to be found. Elena scrambled off the bunk and wrapped her arms around her middle. "Taylor?" she called, slipping on her shoes and walking toward the door. Her footsteps echoed loudly in the cabin, and when she walked out onto the porch, a heavy fog had blanketed everything. The world quiet. There were no night sounds, not a single cricket or owl hoot, and the trees pressed in much more closely than they had just moments before. Elena walked down the porch, and as her feet sank into the ankle-high grass, there was a sound from behind her. The cabin door slamming. She whirled around. The cabin was gone. "Hello?" Elena called, fear seizing her middle and sending sudden tears to her eyes. She pinched her arm to make sure she wasn't dreaming, like people sometimes did on TV shows. The pain was sharp and real. Whatever was going on, she hadn't fallen asleep. "Taylor? This isn't funny," she called, walking forward into the trees. As she moved carefully through the woods, she turned slowly, taking in her surroundings. A few hesitant steps, and the fog cleared a bit to reveal then that she wasn't in the middle of the woods exactly. Rather, she stood in a small clearing. She took another step forward, and the mist cleared farther ahead of her so that she could see a dusty path. And at the end of the path was a cabin. It looked much older than the other cabins at camp. The roof sagged, with shingles missing here and there, and the porch lacked a number of boards. And standing a few feet in front of the cabin was a crooked sign. Cabin 23. Cabin 23? But there were only 20 cabins at camp. This was creepy. Too creepy. Elena tried to turn back.